Alrighty, and we should be live. I'm just gonna pause for a little bit here just to make sure y'all can hear me. Is everything good on your guys' end? Hello? Let's see. Okay, I think y'all can hear me, right? Okay, sweet. Uh, Alrighty, in that case, let me get some stuff out of the way here. I have just some random tabs open from stuff I was doing to set up the stream, but luckily y'all can hear me so I can do the intro. For those unaware, I'm Call. I'm one of the lead artists over here at Milk Animation, which I say jokingly because I'm just like Jack and Core's friend and I help with the pilot. But today I'm going to be doing some art lessons for you guys. And just so you guys can... Oh, actually, before I do that, I want to give you guys an update on something I was working on during my previous stream. If you saw the Drawing the Best Movie Ever stream, I was working on a background for that, or I guess you could see it in the VOD. But I didn't have enough time to show you guys the finished result of that, so I'm gonna put it on screen here just for a little bit so y'all can see it, so that you can see what the end result of it was. Let me make sure everything else is locked here so I don't scooch stuff around. But this was the end result of what I was working on Thursday. I added some rendering on the fish, I added some like texture on the ground, just some basic shadows, added some skin tones and extra stuff to Calvin's face, since this is going to be more of a like I mentioned before, this is one of those like detailed zoom in shots, so this isn't going to need any like additional animation. There might be some of the composite, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, these were the end results of that, which I'm really happy with how it came out, so I'll probably do more streams with the other ones like this. But for now, it's art class time. I'll make sure everything else here is locked so I can't screw with anything. But today, just to avoid repeating myself too many more times, what I'm going to be doing here is teaching y'all how to draw one of the main characters, or the main character, of Plastic... can I say the name of it? I don't know if they said the name of it already. But the main character here... sorry, my brain is not working right now. I thought I had everything reset before I started. I'm going to be drawing the main character here. I'm sorry about that. Kind of rambling. But anyway, to get things started, I just want to clarify a couple things. You do not need a specific art program for this. You can do this on pen and paper, or in my case, I'm going to be using Sprite, which is going to be my equivalent of MS Paint, because I don't want there to be any focus on like the types of brushes I'm using or the software that I'm using specifically, or anything like that. I want this to be focused on the techniques I'm using. That way y'all can carry that over both to doing art for this character if you feel like doing so, or for your own work later on. His name is Calvin Crunch. That is the character's name, just to clarify. But anyway, first thing I'm going to do is give you guys just sort of a basic... Oh, there's another call here. Oh, that's funny. I didn't realize there were two of us. That's cool. Anyway, what I'm going to do first is just kind of break down some very basic ideas, because I'm going to make this as beginner-friendly as I can. So as you can see here, I want to focus on framing art more like how you would use your like handwriting, rather than something where you're trying to break down these complex ideas, because that's going to make art a lot more accessible for people who haven't had as much experience drawing. So in this case, like, you know, a lot of people say things like, oh, I can't draw a stick figure, but if you have any kind of handwriting, you already have the experience to use the different hand motions that you would be using for drawing stick figures. It's just a matter. Uh, sorry, add on the music. That's stupid. Let me pick this video instead. Ooh, that one's loud. There we go. Sorry about that. But this is how I want you to frame drawing. Like, some people say, oh, I can't draw a stick figure, but if you have any kind of handwriting, you already have the tools you need to draw a stick figure, and that's the mentality I want you to carry through this. That way, you know, we're going to be taking these complex shapes and breaking them down into forms that are easy to follow along with. But anyway, rambling out of the way here, I'm going to pull up the main lesson page here, which is just blank for now, but I'll try to answer any questions as I go along here. Let me just get a brush going here. And we're going to be drawing Calvin today, so let me make sure I have the chat open below me so I see this. Oh, this is annoying. There we go. So step one, what we're going to be doing first is make sure you just have like a pen and paper or follow along in a different tab if you can. We aren't going to be doing anything too complicated, but I'm just going to do like a quick drawing of Calvin just so you guys can see what the final result is going to look like, because it's not going to be very complicated. There's just a couple little things that need to be a little bit closer. Also, let's see here. It's not going to, this first one isn't going to be exactly on model just because I'm pretty deliberately doing a style where I can just block everything out like this. These are the motions that you can follow along with if you want later, but I'll explain them later on. Oh, almost got the hair in the wrong place. Get the ears. And now let's do the top here first, actually. That's a little tall. Yeah, if you're doing this on pen and paper and you make any mistakes, you can just scrap the drawing and start over. I don't want you to feel like too attached to any specific thing for this first lesson, just because it's going to be very loose. Get these going, then this little sleeve deals, and get it. And there we go. This is just a very basic pass at his outfit. And this is kind of similar to what we're going to be doing, but I'm just going to break down each of these on their own here. So let's get a new thing going here. And let's see. Let's start with the eyes. The eyes will be one of the easier ones. So for the eyes, what we do is just like a very squished, curved oval. It's a little thicker on the top than it is on the bottom. And generally, for Calvin, the eyes are only about half visible most of the time. He's a very listless character early on, so he looks very bored and detached a lot for the early sequences he's in. And then for the lower lash, it is just like this kind of shape here, and then long, short, long, short. Where's Jack, Corey, and Eden? I don't know. I know, I'm sorry, that's a dumb way of phrasing that. Jack and Core are in Japan, and Eden is elsewhere. My job as one of the artists here at Milk Animation is to do some live streaming on this channel in order to both get the watch hours up and build hype for this project. And then we can just draw the same kind of shape over here for the other eye. Just do something like this, and then long, short, long, short. And this is just like the general shape. The reason that it's very simplified like this is, well, obviously it's going to be animated, but also this makes it very easy for us to give them distinct imagery associated with their characters, because by having these specific shapes for his eyelashes, we're able to take something that on its core is very simple and make it easily memorable and recognizable at a glance. That way we can get a lot more mileage out of the designs, both in how they're interpreted by the animators and in other spaces. So like if we decide to do merchandise, like this will be easy to identify on like a makeshift plush. But not that I know if we have one of those. It's very early on in production, but those are, merch is pretty essential for later on in the process, just in terms of making our endeavor at least somewhat profitable. But these are how you draw the eyes. It's basically just like a wing shape, half an eye, semicircle, like half of an oval at the bottom, and then the lashes. So if y'all have that, you can just kind of stow that away in your brain somewhere. And for the head itself, I'm going to try to start with areas that you can build off of in order to draw this, because I'm trying to avoid giving you advice that's just involving like drawing a circle, drawing this, and like that kind of general process for art tutorials, because I feel like that could be a little bit limiting in terms of how you go about drawing other objects, because there's very little time where you're going to be like, oh, I want to draw, or I want to write my name, so it's like, here I should like make like an outline that's like breaks it down. I mean, you do that for like learning when you're younger. Sorry, I'm just rambling. I thought I had a better idea for this lesson plan, but I'm just gonna not, I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm just gonna focus. So for the hair, let's start here. The hair is this kind of shape. So we draw an S, something like this at the bottom. Like think of these like waves, or like if you've ever drawn cursive, like a cursive W. I would copy and paste and redraw it to give it. Personally, I would copy and paste and redraw it to give not a full mirror effect. Honestly, that's a great idea. If you're working digitally, that is something I've done pretty frequently, actually, for various character designs, because if I'm just doing like the base sketch, it's a lot faster to just copy and paste stuff and then draw over it in order to make sure that everything is in proportion. But yeah, like an S, this shape, and then a backwards S is his hair, and then you can take this and curve them down like so. Or actually, let's do it like this. Like just like curves out and then like that on both sides. So then we'll get the eyes in, which y'all already remember how to do from before. The wing shape. Half a circle. And then get the lashes in. And then I'm going to take this and we're going to put this little shape like here. Think of it kind of like a bird's wing under each of his eyes. These are little hair swoops that are going to frame his eyes because they're very much like the focal point in terms of the details on his face. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, actually. Maybe make it a little bit smaller because I think I drew that a bit big. But yeah, that's just a mistake on my end. Don't worry about that if you've already drawn it. Then give them the lashes, and then the chin will usually go just a little bit past like these curves on their hair. Yeah, I know you write cursive. That was me misspeaking, but then you had the nose right here. Like these, the nose kind of follows the line of the hair swoops here. Then the mouth goes under that. And then I can do the rest of the hair here. So quick loop here. 2 points here. And then 1 point on the other side. It's always 2 points here, 1 point here, depending on the direction he's looking. So if he's looking this way, 2 points here, 1 point here. If he was looking this way, it would be the other way around. And then 2 points down on either side here. Hair swoops can be surprisingly hard. This was a pretty specific shape that we had to get because it's being animated, so there's a lot of areas where stuff like this can be both misinterpreted by different animators or just be tricky to draw in general, which is something that has sort of come up a lot during the character design process. Oh, I should probably include their ears. The way I draw the ears for Calvin is pretty specifically based on how they tie into the hair swoops. So if we draw a hair swoop like this, let me do that first line again. The ear for Calvin, you follow this lower line, you bring it up, and then you loop it around. So it's like, let me take a different pen here. So let's go here, go straight up, and then loop it back around. So you can get the whole thing in like one quick motion, which is really useful for character designs like this. If you can limit the amount of time you have to spend on each feature, you can get it done a lot quicker. Then we can just add his collar. And then for his collar, it is basically a V with 2 M's on either side. They don't have to quite meet here at the V, so it would probably be more accurate to say it's like an M with like a bigger lower half like that, which is pretty easy to remember, I think. If y'all are having any problems with anything here, just let me know, and I can go back and explain things in more detail. Let's see. And then we have his, I call them like shoulder cuffs, I believe. I don't think that's like the right term, but they're essentially a spacing between the main part of his shirt and his arms, which makes animating them easier because then you don't have to always frame out exactly where the shoulder connects. You can just kind of have it pop out like that. Or if I want his arm up like this, it makes it a little bit easier to frame where his arm and his shoulder meet. But for this, it's basically just like 3 of the bird wings for the hair. So like that, that, and that. And there's always going to be 3 visible, whether you're looking at him from the front or the back or the side. There should always be at least 3 visible on each shoulder unless it is obscured in a specific way. Like if you're looking at it from the side, it'll be 1, 2, 3 on the front here. But here, you might only see 2, just because of the angle you're looking at the shoulder from. Then you just kind of draw the arms. And then here is where we made things really easy for ourselves. Because everything basically below the arm, like the shoulder cuffs, is just like mostly straight lines because we wanted to make it very easy to block out where his arms are. And then like his hands, we usually keep those pretty minimal. But yeah, most of the detail for Calvin exists up here. And then everything down here we kept a lot simpler just for the sake of accessibility. And let's see here. What is anything in the chat? After a while animating, doesn't characters get grids like skeletons? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that question, but for each of the characters, we do have different height charts that show like what these characters are going to look like in like their standardized form, which will go to the animators. Like for Calvin, we have this turnaround image that is very big in Aseprite. So let me zoom out here a little bit. It's a little crunched. Sorry about that. But this is what the standardized version of Calvin looks like. This is something I drew probably about, I would say maybe 2 or 3 months ago before we started animating. It took a while for us to finalize all of the details for his character. But yeah, you could see a lot of the stuff that I was describing here. You have the thicker upper eyebrow, or thicker upper eyelid, I'm sorry. Then the vaguely sort of semicircle eyes. And then you have the eyelashes, the nose, mouth. All of this stuff we try to keep as similar as we can between each of our different artists and animators. But yeah. Let's see if I can do one more past this. Squid Game player 167 vibes. I don't know who that is. Let me look that up. I'm curious. Okay, hold on. Who is this? I don't know which character that is. It's been a while since I watched Squid Games, and I don't think I've seen much of the second season yet, so I'm not sure what that's referencing. Oh, like 3D animating. You move the characters around. I know that some shows do that, like Bluey and Tangled. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. We do not use rigged animation for this project. Everything is done frame by frame, which has its pros and cons. We mostly picked it as an aesthetic choice. Like for us, we wanted something that had a... I'm not entirely sure how I would describe the style, but we wanted something that had that sort of aesthetic that comes from 2D animation. Because rigged animation, like Bluey, is really interesting, and I do like seeing it. It's just not the direction we ended up taking, which led to a lot of, I would say, pretty interesting compromises in terms of how we constructed each of the characters. Oh, 67. Okay, let me see if I can find that one. Oh, her, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see what I get what you mean. It's funny, we actually do have some jokes in the episode about him looking more feminine, and I think there was a point in time where someone talked about like characters from Squid Game. Oh, rigging is terrible, for me at least. I've tried it. I'm not good at it at all. I can barely build something in Blender, let alone like actually animate anything in it. It is just a nightmare every single time. But yeah. I'm sorry if this tutorial isn't very, like, clear. I realize now that because we broke it down into a lot of simple shapes, you can really kind of tell what everything is just by looking at it. And a lot of it comes from just putting in the practice to replicate these shapes on your own, which is something I would like to see. Something else I want to do for this. Actually, let me bring this back to the main page here. Is I want to go over, and if you guys draw anything, I share it on like Twitter with hashtag spelling the art, and then I can go over those drawings here live on stream. And I think framing this more as a, like, I would say critique, but that feels like a bit too negative a term. Like, giving feedback will make it a lot easier to explain the decisions we made, because uh, everyone will have their own interpretation of this design based on both your skill level and the amount of time that you have like available to practice stuff like this. Let's see, let me bring this back over here. As someone who used to work with 3D, rigs can be funky sometimes. It's going to look cool in 3D though, but more people will help. And if it, yeah, at least. Can you draw Calvin Crunch's skivvy toilet? You know what? No one's around to tell me to not do that, so sure. You guys are lucky that I am very impulsive. I forget how, like, this skivvy toilet guy looks. He's, like, very... If either Jack or Core or anyone else on the team sees this, I am very sorry. No, no, not. This is fun. There we go. And let's draw one of those, like, camera-headed guys. Why not? With his jacket. How do you spell this? Oh, it's Skibbity. There we go. I hope you're satisfied with this terrible decision of mine. I'm gonna delete this. You know what? Let's. They are going to freak out. Hopefully not. That would be not great. I'm sure I'm sure they'll be fine with it. Like, they didn't. I'm pretty sure they made a video with some folks who pretty much exclusively made skivvy toilet videos for a while. I forget their name though. Something gamers. I forget. Don't worry about it. I mean, the VOD's gonna be up later. Toilets are actually pretty fun to draw. It's a lot of simple shapes, like... Like, it is pretty easy to block them out. Yeah, they reacted to the skivvy toilet was built by gamers. Wait a minute. Hayden and I... Hayden? Or is this a different Hayden? Oh, shit. Hi, Hayden. I didn't realize that was you. Hell yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, I should probably check Twitter just in case anyone's posted anything. Oh no, I just drew it because I thought it was funny. I was like, I saw the name Hated at Night, and because I'm looking at the Twitch, not Twitch, the YouTube like icons, they're pretty shrunk for me. I didn't quite realize you had Haley as your icon. I thought maybe it could have just been like a different Hayden. I don't know why. But yeah, let me just get another Calvin drawing in here just so y'all can see this all put together. Let me move this guy off to the side here. Then you can kind of see him side by side. And then after this, I'll show how we draw like different expressions for Calvin. Because something we're doing with our animators is we want to give them a lot more creative freedom. Who is Calvin modeled after? It's giving Core. Core did do the initial sketches for the character, and so a lot of it was based on things that are pretty prevalent in his style, especially the eyes. That was one of the things I wanted to make sure I carried as far into the process as I could, was making sure the eyes were very similar to how he framed them. Like very like simplified, clear shapes. And the eyelashes were a big detail too. How old is Calvin? Calvin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, actually, let me pull up the. We have a document for everything, so I want to make sure I give you guys the right information. That's not the right sheet. I have too many documents in Google Docs. Plastic Crunch guy. Oh shit. Let's see. I don't see his age. I think he's like early 20s. I'm sorry. I thought I had the answer, but it is not written down in my notes. He's definitely not a minor though. Well, anyway, this is just another pass at his like default face. And now let's mess with this a little bit here. Because we gave them such a simple face, it's very easy to do different expressions. Like if we want him shocked, you just kind of go like this. And then we can add the hair swoops in. Add the ears. Yeah, he is a really silly character. Like a lot of what we wanted to do was make him uh give him a lot of energy that he can bring into his performance. Yeah, he is screaming. Is that the biter 87? Uh I'm going to make his pupils a little smaller here because I want him to look really scared. Or surprised. I mean, I guess it's the... Then I can move the nose up a little bit more just so it frames the face better. There we go. Because that was another thing, was just like giving them a lot of potential range for their expressions. Let me move this guy down a little bit, like right down there. And I'm actually going to get a thinner brush here, I think. Oh, if anyone does draw Calvin and put it on like Twitter with the hashtag, which I'll just put down here at the bottom since... Spilling the art. Just write down that you added something in chat and I'll go check the hashtag and then I can pull it up here and go over it. But if we want him angry, it's very easy because he's already like halfway to angry at like all times. Bring in the lower lashes more. I really like scrunching up his face whenever I do any expressions like this, making him just kind of more like chibi-like. It's all angry. I'll be right back. Ooh, I'm excited to see if you're drawing something. Hell yeah. Or if you're just going to go do something. See, like, even with this, because we've established some key details, like the eyelashes or like the lower lashes here, even when I'm like drawing him admittedly very scuffed, it's still recognizable, which was something that took a lot of time for us to figure out. Just because a lot of times, like, a lot of, like, the littler details here were things that we had to decide on. Actually, I'm going to see if I can find something. We have been working on this for a while now, so I want to see if I can find some of the early artwork that we had for Calvin. Just like earlier drafts, you can get an idea of how his character has developed over time. Here's like an early draft of him. Let's try this one. Let's see how this one looks. This was a little bit older. Yeah, you could see like this was some of the initial stuff we were doing. Some of my, like, scrunchiness was a lot more prevalent at this stage. And he had, like, weird mitten hands, which sometimes comes up in the animation because of how I drew, like, the finalized version of their fingers. You can also see things like how much baggier his outfit is at this stage. Like, the face is a little bit closer to my weird, scrunklier Doodles, just because that's kind of where I default to when I try to draw like cuter characters. But you could see that his outfit was a lot looser. It was very baggy down here where we tightened things up. I don't know. It looks like before or after, like someone used like P90X or something. But you can also see details like his boots. The boots, I liked this version of the boots, but as you can tell, this is not great for animation. There's just too many details happening here. So for the finalized version of his character, we ended up basically cutting all of those details out. So you could see that it is just a lot of smooth, flat shapes in comparison to all of this happening. But yeah, I don't think I have a lot of earlier drafts of how his like character looked from early development, or at least nothing that I can pull up immediately. But yeah, that is Calvin. That's kind of where he started. This is where he is now. And honestly, like it was a great couple months working on his character, getting him to this point. Cause oh, actually, I bet I could find something in the Milla note. Maybe I could find like one of the first drawings of Calvin. I just have to log in. Okay, not now. I don't need desktop notifications. I don't see it. Maybe I was signed in with a different account. Sorry, I just want to see if I could find this before. Okay, here it is. Let's see. Characters. Oh, found it. Okay. Here is a very, very early drawing of Calvin. Let's paste this in. Oh, shoot. That's just something I drew before. God damn it. I gotta copy the image properly. Nope. Maybe I just have to save it. Download original image. Here we go. So these are Core's initial drawings of Calvin. These were done way back, I would say in early, like February, I believe. You could see that a lot of like the key features were still there even in this earliest version. We did have these highlights in his eyes that actually managed to stay for a pretty long time before we'd settled on solid black pupils for the final version for animation. But you can kind of see like the general shape, the little tufts of hair here at the bottom, where his ears are, the kind of scrunkly, squished down version, this very dramatic, more anime shaded one. This was one of the first drawings that we had of him, and a lot of what we were building towards was based on these initial sketches that I then tried to build on as we went along. So a little bit of a behind the scenes peek for you. And let's see, I'll close out of that now. I'll close out of this because I don't want to mess with any of that. But yeah, if y'all have any more like requests for doodles, just let me know and I'll just kind of doodle some more just to fill out the back end of the stream. As you might have been able to tell, I did not have a lot. I didn't give myself a lot of time to plan out how to do this particular lesson, and I apologize for that. But a lot of it is very similar to just kind of. Oh. Yeah, I am pretty happy with how the curly hair came out. I don't know what the if yes, what is your number message means. I'm sure that means something, just I don't know. Will you upload the stream onto this channel? Yeah, all of the VODs are going to be staying all of the VODs are going to be staying up here. I feel like it's more in waves, not curled, though. It is more wavy. I would say just, like, the general shape that we ended up going with was... It's, like, curled in the sense that, like, a line is, like... Or it's, like, curved more than it is curled. It's, like... We tried to leave a lot of, like, similar shapes in for the hair. So as you can see, like, we're basically doing a lot of, like, the same motions across the character. And, like, by keeping that consistent, it also makes it a lot easier to recognize the character. Even if you're just seeing their silhouette, which was another important thing. Because if I close up all the gaps here, I just fill this in. Oh, wait, that gap isn't filled. Oh, no, that one's... That's the problem with working in A-Sprite. Oh, is that it is very... because it's... Okay, I think I'm good this time. We tried to make it so that you could have a very clear silhouette, even if it's a lot of basic shapes like this. I'm sorry, I think I have to, like, block whatever this person is. Hide user on the channel. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Someone was being weird in the chat. But anyway, this is what the silhouette of the character is, and that's another thing that was pretty important when it came down to his design. Let's see. It's been about 50 minutes here. Trying to think of what other stuff I could do for the stream today, because I feel like I've kind of covered everything. I didn't cover it very well, unfortunately, but that just comes with not having a lot of streaming experience. But, you know, live and learn there. Hopefully, you guys were able to pick up some interesting stuff about their design. Oh, yeah, I joked about this in the first stream I was in. Oh, I got a question. Does Calvin draw his eyelashes with eyeliner, or are they real? I'm gonna say they're real. I feel like... I don't think Calvin is smart enough to use makeup. I don't think he knows. Well, he does have a very feminine appearance, but it's not because he's, like, aiming for it. It just kind of happens. But... yeah, I guess I have, like, 10 minutes here to kill. Let me switch things over to something else for a bit. There we go. Let's give this a try. Why not? So, during the first stream I was on with Jack and Core, I made a joke about potentially making a tier list out of the YouTube emojis because I thought they didn't look very good, or I thought they looked kind of strange, and that would be like an interesting stream. So I'll do that for like 10 minutes here. Oh, that's Hayden's channel. I guess like preview there. I guess that's that. And I also have that open. And I guess I'll have like the hashtag open here just in case anyone adds anything. Nope. Let's give this a try. Why not? Plays Fortnite for the rest of stream. I guess, like, I feel like my explanations could have used some work. So I might workshop this, and when more characters are released, I'll probably have a more comprehensive tutorial that will be a little bit easier to follow along with. Like I said, not very used to streaming. I've just did a lot of, like, the art development, so this is all stuff I'm learning. But anyway, let's get started with the tier list. I do not like this guy. No, I relate to that. That is me very often. I'm gonna give that one B just based on vibes. That's S tier, or no, I said it. I'm gonna keep it. This is D. That's lame. Red card. I'll say B. That's a good face. Cat gets S tier. I do not like this dog's expression. That looks menacing. There is an off-putting vibe to this that I do not like. The clock. I get what it's going for. Not super strong imagery. I think I'll throw it here because I don't dislike it as much as that dog. That I don't care about. Bumping elbows, I guess, is the term. I guess I'll put that one there. Dabbing, S tier, obviously. This, that's kind of boring. I'm not a huge fan. I guess that's supposed to be like wiping away tears. It does look like, y'all remember Ubi? Nope, that's not what it was called. Fuck it, what was it called? It was like a little hand puppet type deal. I forget what it's called. I don't remember. Shit. Anyway, it looks like that thing, but it doesn't look very good because like the fist is like curled up. I'm gonna make that C. This robot character. I've done that before. I feel that one. I like the expression on this one. Spam. Ubi. Oh, OOBI. That's what I was thinking. This thing. This guy. That's what this dude right here looks like. Like this. This was such a weird show that I remember watching when I was younger. Just like the fact that they would sometimes put wigs on them. It's just like all of these weird little details. I don't know who came up with that, but it was very clever, I think. Even if it was a little off-putting at the time. Spam. I do like how the spam looks. I'll throw it in B, why not? All these characters I'm putting in A. I just really like the design. There's something very cute about them, but not quite S tier material. I'm saying that in like a joking way. They're all good there. Yeah, I don't know why they made Ubi so sad. I guess this one also gets A, because I think that's the same character. The flower is cute, but I don't think I would ever use it. Not a big fan of the poop one. I wouldn't use it, but I think it's funny. I don't like that expression. I don't like that one either. Not that one. I don't like this line art. Something about it feels very like clip arty. Like this is something that was made in like some very early like vector art program. This expression I find very funny, so I'll throw that one up here. The weird board TV. I don't think I would use it, so I'll put it in C. That's a C tier one. No. Probably wouldn't use this one. Oh, I do not like those ears. No, that's D. It has like a similar line art to these, but I like this one a little bit more. I'm gonna put this one in C. I do like this vampire guy, and it looks like it's in a similar style to the alien girl, so I'm gonna put them in the same tier. That expression's pretty funny. Oh, that one's S tier. Whatever that is a peak design. That one gets A. That one's a little boring. Not a fan of that one. Nope. Nah. I like that one a little bit more. Shocked fish, that one's also C tier. Sunglasses are pretty good. Or actually, no, let's put these up a little higher. Goat is A. That one's a little dull, but in a cute way. Kind of looks like someone took like I mean, it is just a regular emoji, but smushed, but... Like, oh, that's like a crystal ball. I could not figure that out right away. Why is the music not playing? Oh, shoot, the video ended. Okay, I thought I had... Monkey with hammers, S. Play this one. Just until I finish this tier list, and then I'll wrap up the stream. The hand, that one's pretty solid. I'll put that one in B. That hand, I'm less a fan of. No. Hourglass. I like the hourglass. That one's very cute. Not a fan of that one. That one's a little dull. Same with that one. Same with that one. I feel like that one could be used sarcastically, so that one gets a bonus. That dude, I like this dude. He looks like he's like having not a good time, but he's there and he's sticking and he's like, it's like he's gonna stay out to the end there. It is like another Ubi, but the problem is I could see both of the hands, so it kind of takes away from the effect of the other Ubi. I'm gonna put this dude up here just because, or actually probably A. That's not quite S tier. It's funny, but it's not that funny. This one is S tier. Not a huge fan of this guy, but I like the line art more compared to these ones. I just do not like these at all. Actually, I want to put like a tier lower, but that feels like unnecessarily mean. I'll put this one in B. I think that one's cute, so I'll put that one in B too. Little stick figure guy. This one feels like I like it, but the details almost feel like too small to be legible. Let's see. This one is... I don't vibe with that one. I'll put that one in B. I think it's funny. I don't know. For some reason, I immediately thought it was like 5 different people like trying to catch a baby, or in the process of throwing the child up into the air, which could either be like celebratory or just kind of off-putting in different vibes here. This one I like a little bit more than this waving, because I feel like it's a more like dynamic pose. It also kind of looks like they're responding to a lot of different questions. Big fan of the wizard. Put them up here. Let me check and see if there's anything in this hashtag yet while I'm waiting. Nope, nothing there yet. Oh, I didn't play this. I'm stupid. There we go. I knew I was missing something. This one's a little bit boring, but I don't mind it. Another celebratory one. This one's cute. Okay, I for some reason I want to put this one in A. I don't have a reason why. It doesn't seem particularly useful, but something about that just looks very nice to me. Same with this one. Oh, this one's lowest, like as low as it could go. That just looks so dumb. And the fact that it has just like a regular like text font over it, I don't like that. I guess that's like hand sanitizer maybe. Box cat, obviously S tier. Social distancing one. That was pretty useful for a while, but YouTube. Well, there's like a little hat thing on this one. I don't know why. Like, you could kind of see it if I hold it over a different one. It has like a weird little graphic just on top, and I can't think of any reason why that would be there. Actually, I'm going to put this one lower and then put the regular YouTube logo there. Then we have the stopwatch. That one's kind of dull. That one's all right. Game over. Could pro that one here. Goal. Health one, put that here. That one's a little... I don't like the face this one has. It doesn't look happy. It looks like it's halfway through a syllable in like a lip sync animation. I like the waving through like this video call one. I'm gonna put that one in S. That one's cute. I like this one. Actually, that one goes in S too. That's important. I'm not sure about this one. I can't tell what that... Oh, it's like a whistle. Okay. Then that one gets there, and number 1, probably B tier. Let's see. There we go. We got all of the YouTube emojis added to a quick little tier list here. And let me tab back over to the main area I was in before in OBS. If I want to take like take your own shot at that, go for it, I guess. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just kind of waffling while I look for my other Ace Bright scene. There we go. I'm surprised YouTube would have a middle finger. I don't think one of those had a middle finger in it, did they? No, I don't see one in there. I think I would have noticed that as I was going through them. I'm not sure. Well, anyway, we're over an hour here. I can't really think of anything else to do. You know what? Let's set something up here for the next stream. Let's do something that I think people will think is cool. I want to try to go over some art of Calvin in the next stream. So if you want me to talk about like some... How do I say this? If you want to share some of your art here, you could draw Calvin, and then I could go over your page here on stream so that other folks can find you. Or if you're just unexperienced with art and you're looking for feedback, you could also send them to Spilling the Art, but clarify that maybe you don't want them covered on stream if you're not sure if you're comfortable with that. And I could still give some advice through like Twitter or something, just in case you have any questions. And I guess I'll wrap things up here. Thank you guys for sticking with me for the stream here. I'm excited to come back and do another one in probably a couple more days. Most likely just going back to the drawing the detailed illustrations like I did in the previous VOD. And yeah, like it was fun. It was fun to like talk about the design for a little bit. Still really happy with how everything came out. And yeah, hope y'all have a good night. So